Oh, good. So it is our time, 10:30 UK time. Today is 24th of February, a very chilly morning, but sunny, so it's already good. So let's just start with a quick prayer. Master Jesus, spiritual friends, they're always helping us in our activities, giving us the support, the intuitions, the strength to carry on. Here we are again, happy to be together in another Saturday morning to study mediumship through the teachings of our brother Kardec, to help ourselves and to help others. That this study could be also positive once more to us and to everyone that perhaps is watching. Be with us today and always. So be it. So, good morning to, more people now. So good morning to people that are here with us. So let me share my screen with you. Can you see the book?
Not yet. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good stuff. So we have stopped where I'm marked in green here. So I'll finalize this sentence here, and then I'll speak about indoctrinators, as I promised last week. The delusion can reach the point to where it causes them to consider the most ridiculous language as sublime. Those who think that this type of obsession can only touch simple, ignorant, and senseless persons are mistaken. The most refined, educated, and otherwise intelligent individuals are not at all exempt from this kind of delusion, which proves that we are addressing an aberration produced by an outside cause whose influence dominates them. I'm going to do something. Instead of speaking about indoctrinators, I'll go until the end, and then we talk about that. Perhaps we have already something here that will help us out. We have stated that the consequences of fascination are very serious. What happens is that, thanks to the fascination, thanks to the delusion that results from it, these spirits guide the victim, who they have managed to dominate as if they were blind. And they can lead them to accept the most absurd doctrines and erroneous theories as being the sole expressions of truth. Moreover, they can incite them to foolish, compromising, and even dangerous acts. When I was reading here, something came to my mind. Something that is very common is someone like we are here, participating on a study or even of a mediumship meeting, and suddenly we start to disagree with the way things are done, with what has been said, and we start to develop our own truth about everything. I don't even remember how many times I heard that or witnessed that. And there are two outcomes. With time, the person will return to what is the average of the people participating of the meeting or the study, or that will escalate to a point that the person really becomes very uncomfortable in the study and in the mediumship meeting. And he or she leaves. So we all know that we are sensitive people. Even if we are not considered as mediums per se, we have some level of sensitivity. If we are mediums per se, means that our sensitivity is a bit higher. And we can start to feel things like that. Like I have no reason at all, for example, and I start to be very uncomfortable around Munir. Everything he say is like a knife in my chest. Like, I don't like what he's saying. What he's thinking he is, you know? And things like that start to evolve. Sometimes from Munir, we'll go to another person, and then we have two people thinking the same, and that may escalate to a point that we get in trouble. So if you in your path feel like something like that, be attentive. Be attentive, because could be an external influence trying to slowly, little step by little steps, moving you away. Following that same comment I'm making, I don't remember how many anymore being through this, became totally unbalanced, start to suffer from some mediumship consequences, if I can say like that, or the absence of the mediumship serious activity. And then some time later, he or she will return knocking on the door, I need help. And sometimes this person goes through the same process several times. Because when you start to get better again, open up to new influences that will come, and then the whole process will start again. So it could happen to anyone. So we need to be attentive if we notice that something like that is happening, right? Even the other day, I was speaking here, we are trying to help a couple, and we spoke about something that happened between me and my wife. There was a couple of years ago, there was a period, something like a week or two, I could not look into her. I felt very angry when I look into her. You know, when you really despise someone, that was like that for 2 weeks. When it happens for the first time, I said, wow, he may have done something that upset me. So that's normal, right? Between couples, it could happen. It's normal. But then I start to notice that, wow, it's not just one event. It's becoming every time. Then, because we know what we know, because we've been exposed to the Spiritism doctrine teachings, if you like, I said, I see. I know what's happening. And then we do what we have to do, and then everything became normal again, right? So we need to be very careful. Ahead. Hi, Denise.
I think you just said, like, then, so I guess that even if you do the gospel at home, you pray every day, you should be susceptible to these things happen to you. Mm-hmm. So the question here is, like, you have to be attent, and then you say you have to do what then we do. You just say, like, then I do what I have to do. So what else would you do if you're already praying, you already do the gospel, and then you notice these things around you? What else do you do?
Perhaps during the period that has happened, I have left some cracks open. Perhaps I was not attentive enough, or I start to miss my commitments that allow them to find a breach and coming through. You know, things like that we all do, right? Luckily, we had the exposure to this kind of knowledge to allow us to identify. Mm-hmm. We know where to look into it, and we know what to do. For example, even after I noticed that, I was with that feeling for almost 2 weeks. And I'm kind of used to it, right? Almost 2 weeks, because they are also persistent, right? When they find a breach, they will go through it and they will try to do anything. But then we become aggressive, we become irritated, we become doing nonsense things. We can escalate to points that I will divorce you because I cannot cope with you anymore, because we're not talking about 2 weeks anymore, not 2 months anymore. I'm talking about a year. Mm-hmm. Something like that I have no information, no knowledge at all during a year. Really, I can't. It's better go away. And here we go. You did what they want you to do, right? So even if you do everything, let me go even beyond that. When we are available to help others using the Spiritism tools, we are helping people, but we are also upsetting people. What do you mean? I mean that, let's assume two different figures here. Munir and Valerie, they are a couple, they have a problem, I decide to help them. The spirits that are with them, promoting the problems between them, they will be very unhappy with me. And they will come, hey, you have nothing to do with that. Don't put your finger in something that does not belong to you. And then you are kind of a target, right? For example, there's someone laying on the ground, begging. Possibly he's not alone there. And you're trying to do something. Come on, come with me, go to the restaurant or something. If he or she has a spirit that is really upset with him, we'll be upset with you. I'm not telling you not to do. It's not that. But we need to be conscious about how those mechanisms work, right? And sometimes, for example, going back to Munir, and I don't remember who I said anymore, but Munir couple, he feels so upset, he and his organization start to ask for help on his side. So things become more intense. And normally when you start to help someone, the first thing we see is what people consider as a problem become more intense before they get better. Because it's normal. We are trying to help someone. If I'm not strong enough to help someone, I will ask Munir, come with me to help someone. Cherry, come with me to help someone. That's human. And it works both ways, right? So this is something is not to frighten anyone, it's not to say not to do, but it's something we need to be aware of, those human mechanisms. And spirits are also human. They are like us. So they have the same behavior. I have a hand. Hi, Liz.
Hi there, everyone. Yeah, as you were saying, the influences can target us directly or indirectly when we're trying to help people. And, we need to be quite aware and know kind of how to spot these things occurring in our lives. And so we need to, notice any changes that we have in our thoughts or in our actions, in our harmony and in our balance, because all of these things, suddenly don't sit right. It's not our normal personality that is talking, and it's having that discernment all the time. And as you rightly said, doesn't matter how evolved, intellectual, or how much you study, everyone can be affected at any time.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the more you grow, the more obstacles you're going to, have to address.
Mm-hmm. Munir.
Hi, everyone. I also want to add that it's important what we do, but how we do as well. Sometimes I do my gospel in the home once a week, every week, I don't miss it, but do I truly do the gospel in the home, or just sit and do a reading? My mind is somewhere else, It happens to me. There are days that I have to restart because I start and I feel that, it hasn't fired as such, So I had to start from the beginning, and then I do a sort of kind of work of calming down, and then you prepare yourself. You feel that you've reached a certain level of tranquility, of peace, and then you can do your gospel in the home and observe the teachings that you receive. Otherwise, it's just a formality,
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that you do with no effect in us. This is the important thing. How the things that we do are truly affecting us, in bringing us this shield, creating this shield around us.
Very good point, Munir. Very good point. You said something, Liz, as well. I'll come back to you, Jackie, just a minute. You said something as well, Liz. Direct or indirect. Sometimes they cannot reach us, but they can reach our wife, our husband, our son, our father, our mother, and things like that. And they know exactly which string to pull because they observe us all the time. So if I'm not very friendly with my father for many reasons, they know. When they want to change your mood, they go to your father. Call him now. 3 minutes before the mediumship meeting, call him now. In 1 minute, you discuss with your father or pick anyone else. Is enough to change your whole atmosphere. And they know. And they know. So we need to be very attentive. Go on, Jackie.
You and Munir said what I wanted to say.
Good.
I was going to say about the gospel in the home. I noticed the days I've missed the study and the practice, I was very agitated and I kept feeling quite agitated. So I would sometimes, when I can't concentrate or meditate, I just say the Lord's Prayer in various different ways, until I find myself coming down, and then I'm able to do a prayer. But my husband has been introduced to Spiritism by me. And I noticed that in our gospel in the home, the words used, the level of the discussion of the gospel wasn't our normal. And then I started praying in the middle of the gospel and trying my hardest because I didn't know any of this. It was a realization that happened last week after 2 months. So as I was going through it all, I didn't know that was happening, or I felt it. And it's quite interesting because the thought in my mind was, maybe I should be doing this on my own. Maybe I should be doing the gospel in the home on my own. And the more I studied, I realized, no, it's for the family. And the importance here is the study. The importance here is to read the message that we're coming across. But it's not a hard task to do.
No. We need to decide to do it properly. Everything we do, we have the first item, commitment. And I urge you all to go to the dictionary and look what commitment means. You know, commitment is everything. And a lot of us, we don't have commitment. A lot of us, we do when we have nothing else to do. So this is not commitment. This is something else. Oh dear, I have 2 hands, so I don't know. I'll pick Elsoli first. Go on, Elsoli.
Good morning, everybody. I had a little problem with my internet in this. Yeah, solved. I must say that when I feel that it's a long time ago when I was children, but I remember when the Spiritus Centrum here in Stockholm, and it was, I would feel, I had I will say in English, a healing, can I say a healing, and the medium start to with hand. Oh, it was in spirit, and I swear, I could almost control. I miss my control almost, and he would like to talk, but I knew that after healing, that time, that day, that night, they would usually have a mediumship. So I tried to say, but I couldn't. So strong power, because I couldn't. I tried to say. I say my mind to mind. No, my friend. Wait a minute, because you can't say what you want to say. The next medium's ship, some minutes later, but I couldn't. something happened here. And the medium said to me, she said to me here, or I heard her, also Lee, heard you, so try. So, and yeah, it was good. And another medium, another room, come, take, touch good, and then finish healing there, and she came, and the two mediums there control. It wasn't bad, no bad spiritual or nay. It was a very, very needy spirits needs help, and they couldn't bear say. Though she said, because she was then healing the another medium, she said also, Lee, I have treatment. I am in treatment, an obsession or something, and I don't work in the mediumship. I'll go home and we can go to Sam together to the station. And she said, my dear Nay, she said, my friends, now every day you must to do the gospel every day. And I never forgot. And it was once a week only. Always, every day I do gospel. So because gospel really help us when I don't know, shoulder barrier omkring us, in Swedish, around us, and the good spirits, they always help us to now contact with them, but it depends on us. So then that time we have shoulder, but
thank you.
then exactly then we must do our works too.
Let me use what Ursula said to bring another thing. Sometimes we suggest people to do the gospel at home once a week. If we are talking about a situation where an obsession has been implemented, or we perceive that may be the case, or it can increase the frequency. All right? So it's like when you go to a doctor, the doctor will prescribe something for you depending on your situation, depending on your need. All right? Hi, Liz.
Hi there. I think we need to stress what you were saying about commitment, because this is a typical way that we get sidelined when, we procrastinate, when we don't feel like it, when we make excuses for something. And sometimes it takes that Herculean effort, that tenacity. It's like walking through treacle, and takes a lot of energy to get yourself to do something. I'll give my examples just recently this week. I'm on very, detox regimes. And I really, really don't like them. I really don't like having to do a liver cleanse. I really don't like to have to do castor oil packs. I haven't done them before. They're first time. And every day, even have to do coffee enemas. Do you know, I used every ounce of my energy to ensure that I did them that day. But I tell you what, Herculean effort. And the only thing I could say is, this is your false personality talking. This isn't your real I. And think about how you're going to feel tomorrow if you didn't do it. You're going to be really regretting it and really, really, telling yourself off. But then imagine the other side of the coin. When you've done it, you're going to be feeling so much happier with yourself that you showed up for yourself, that you didn't let yourself down. Yeah, so this is where they can sideline us too.
I like what you said, Liz, and sometimes I'm a bit even annoying because I'm hammering that subject quite often about commitment, and practice show us that most of the people that are going back and forth is because they're lacking of commitment, and it's not because they were not advised what to do, because they don't have the strength to commit seriously to something. And this is not only regarding spiritism or mediumship. No, this is in life. If we don't commit seriously to something, we will fail. And we have only one person to blame, ourselves. But the thing is, sometimes, going back now to spiritism, we recommend people to do this, this, and that. People don't. And normally they are the ones that are coming very constantly asking for help. And then we ask, have you done this? Well, yes, but never did. Have you followed it? Nah, well, it's very difficult. Okay. Because a lot of people come to the spiritism trying to find the magic wand. It does not exist. Does not exist. And even Jesus never said to anyone that he promoted the miracles or the healings. He said, no, your faith made this. So we have the power to do it. And if you don't want, fair enough. It's up to everyone. It's up to the individual.
And we're not just letting ourselves down. We're letting our benefactors down and the time that they spend helping us. And we're also letting those spirits that follow us and learn from us down as well. So it's not always just us we're letting down.
I agree. I agree. Let me read a bit more. We have stated that the consequences of fascination are very serious. What happens is that, thanks to the delusion that results from it, these spirits guide the victim whom they have managed to dominate as if they were blind. I read that already, right? I know why. And they can lead to accept the most absurd doctrines and erroneous theories, blah, blah, blah. I have read that already. I know what I'm reading again. I need to give...
One can easily.
Yeah. But I think I know why I read again, because it came to my mind again. I need to give an example of one person that she was by far the most spiritist person I ever met, if I can say that like that. She was the person who helped people from the time she wake up to the time she went to bed. She was truly devoted to help others. And I never met anyone like her. And she teach a lot of people. She had a lot of people helped, blah, blah, blah. One day, she felt under the influence of one spirit, and it became a possession. First reaction was, how come? How that is possible? A person that only do good all time. And none of us, we could help her. None of us. We tried everything. And that was a process that took weeks. We tried everything we knew. And one reaction was, let's make a mediumship meeting just for her, trying to attract whom was there to the meeting. We did. It happens twice. And even like that, nothing have changed. And you know that we are very proud of the Spiritist teachings, right? We are very proud about everything we do. And nothing we did worked. And we asked the benefactors, why? And they said it was planned to be like that. The medium, she knew that was planned. that was expected, but was stronger than we thought. And two things we all learned with this process. We had to have help from another group, and was not an spiritist group, was a group that used to use the mediumistic characteristics, was a group from Umbanda that was able to start to change the process, right? That was a lesson for us. That was a massive lesson for us. And she got well, she returned to her activities, but she suffered a lot. And another thing that was very important through this process that we learned is that sometimes we still have things way back that we need to fix. Today we are brilliant today. We are spot on. We do everything perfect today. But in the past, we were not like that. And I'm about to finish, and I'll give the word to you, Munir. And another thing, it was explained to us where everything started. Was in a war. She was a doctor. And in a war, you could imagine how many people come totally broken into the hospital. She wasn't like in a field hospital in tents and things like that. And coming a lot of people hurt, blessed. And between saving one that had condition to be saved in her analysis as a doctor, or saved someone that in her analysis could not be saved, she did what was right. She went to help this one that could be saved. This spirit that has followed her since then was the spirit that was beside and was not helped and died, of course. So sometimes little things we do have serious consequences. Did she made any mistake? Technically, no. Technically, no. Nevertheless, the consequence has created someone that was really hurt by that decision. So why I'm saying that? Because we need to be very thorough in our actions, in our decisions. Sometimes a decision I make technically, not doing anything wrong, may have repercussions. So Liz, is your hand extended again or since last time?
Down.
Okay. Hi, Munir.
Hi, Remy. Yeah, you touched a very important point because we bring things from the past. And sometimes we are allowed to have some times to prepare ourselves, but we have to sort them out. Be a case of obsession or possession like this one, be a situation in life. We have situations that we bring, we have to sort them out. And sometimes these periods that we are allowed to have is for us to prepare ourselves to, sort the situation in a better condition. And Jesus taught us, he said, sort of not exactly in these words, but to make peace with those today while it's still on the way, because that will come in the future. When it comes, and it's our responsibility to sort whatever situation it is, that we are involved with, and it may be more difficult. Like in this case, she had, a life of dedication and love and so on, but she still had something from the past to sort out.
Mm-hmm. Munir, how many times during our day or during our week, let's be nice, during our week, that we make calls that we shouldn't make. In our work environment, for example. I'm the lead, I'm the boss. How many decisions we make that we are creating obsessors? In our friendship groups, how many words I said that I create potential enemies for the future? In our family, how many things I did or I didn't that I end up creating enemies for the future?
Yeah,
We all,
I don't see, yeah. I mean, I don't see that every situation, for instance, a situation that we do the right thing, even helping someone, and that, you know, disagree is disagreeable for someone else, and that other person decides to persecute us because we help, so we have no protection. No, we do, but there are situations that we have to face, and that in a particular situation will, you know, come back to us for us to sort out, perhaps not even with that spirit. But that is a situation that we experienced in the past. We made wrong decisions. Now we have to, you know, handle that in a different way. But I don't think that because we just, you know, even Jesus, you know, he didn't, you know, make friends with everyone. There were people who hated him, you know. And we see, for instance, Paul the Apostle. He hated Jesus. He didn't know why. But then, you know, one day he decided to change. And but many people perhaps hated him or hate until today, you know. But the thing is, if we have something to sort out, that situation may be used for us to, you know, make the amendments.
we have to see that everything is a learning process.
Yeah.
Even when we go to the lower zones, as we call here, it's a learning process.
Indeed.
Everything is a learning process. Hi, Osoli.
I was impressed about this woman. Doctors had a problem with obsessions. Everybody, sometimes in life can suffer too. I must say, this woman in their Spiritiska Centrum here in Sweden, in Stockholm, she's by self, she had the problem with obsession. So, and she was had help from a Spirit Center in Brazil. So to help and a pool of mediums, so to help her with treatment. Oh, you know. But I would like to ask you, Guilherme, about why only Umbanda could help this then women. It was about proud. Maybe everybody had proud, or maybe I would like to know. Yes, why?
Let me explain.
I think food. I know I food a little bit heavy also, but
let me explain.
Okay, thank you.
To start with, there was a lesson to the group, and was more than one group, because sometimes we treat others in a way that we shouldn't. Right? How many times I heard that spirits, they are not doctors, cannot come to the mediumship meeting? I heard that before. Right? What we call in Brazil preto velho, or somebody that comes from Africa cannot come to this meeting. I heard that. So there was a lesson for the group. Everything that happens is always there's always something to teach, right? But the technicality, why they manage to do and the other groups don't, is because the energies that were involved were beyond what the benefactors could actuate. And to let everyone know, a mediumship meeting is not just a meeting that we have doctors in the organization. The protection is made by a type of spirit. The cleaning is made by another type of spirits. It's like if you go to a hospital, you have different expertises in the hospital that work together to make the hospital works. A mediumship meeting is exactly the same. But sometimes they have to be hidden because people are so misconceived about the spiritual world that they do not appear, but they are there. Spirit mediums that are clairvoyant can tell you, right? Some of the benefactors, they cannot go some areas. They cannot. And then other spirits working on the team, they have to go. They will go, they will bring, they will do the work that has to be done. Everyone has an act to play on this. Hi, Munia.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think this is a very important point, and that's why I just want to make a brief comment. We shouldn't forget that any organization on earth has people working at different levels. Not that this is more important than that, not in this sense, but we have people who, for instance, conceive the building and people who build the building. And depending on the type of work you do, you need people who are, in inverted commas, specialized, prepared to do that kind of work. In the spirit world is the same. The variety of spirits that is perhaps even more than the variety of people we have here on earth. People who can talk to a group of people, but if you send the wrong person, they won't listen to that person. They say, no, he's not from the community here. We don't understand what he's saying, and we don't want anything to do with him. But if you send the right person will manage to, sort of get to an agreement with that particular group and do that kind of work. So we shouldn't expect in the spiritual world we either have evil spirits or good spirits and full stop. No.
Munia, I also remember something when you were talking, is that sometimes because we felt that we have superpowers, because we are spiritists, and because I read the medium's book once, I think I can do anything. It's not like that. We had an activity that you used to go to places where people could not come to the Spiritist Center to be helped. And we saw things that are not nice to see. But these benefactors from the group, they told us how to do it. First, you all come here together. We had a brief study about the gospel. We had our prayers. When you guys are doing that here, part of our group, spiritual group, will go on every place you're going to visit to prepare, and then you can go. And there was a kind of clause, never less than 3 mediums together, never. And always come here, making questions about the cases, have some thoughts if you have to, before you go. Why is that? Because we think we have powers. We think we are top notch. That's human. We think we can do anything. And it's not like that. The very same lady I said in the first example, I've worked with her for years. And one day there was a family suffering a situation. The person could not come to the center because had no conditions to come. And I said, okay, I'm going there. No, you're not going there. So why not? Because not even me can go there. So you have to wait and learn first. So, all right. But what she said is not even me can go there. So you see, there are so many different nuances on the situations, and sometimes not goodwill is not enough. We need something else. Hi, Theodolis.
Proud.
Hi, everybody. I think hearing what you just said now brought some comfort to me, because we had a situation in our group here in Cardiff that it haunted me for a long time. And I wanted to help someone, and this person was in a very serious situation. She ended up in a psychiatric hospital. She was sectioned, and she was in a very difficult situation. It was really bad. And I was saying to my friends, oh, I think I'll go there and I'll visit her and, you know, go personally. But one of them said, no, Liz, don't go there. We shouldn't go there. Not at all. And something within me said, you know, listen to him, don't go. But then later on, I couldn't have any more contact with her. And unfortunately, she discarnated by suicide. And, you know, it kind of hung on my head for a long time. And you always think, you know, if you've been there, if you went and if you did something, would it comfort? But at the end of the day, you know, throughout all this talk about obsession, one thing in all the studies that I have done so far on this theme and all the books that I have read, and I'm reading now, about, you know, things related to obsession. We can say, you know, we can try to do anything on the outside, but the person themselves have to change their attitude inside. And the same with us, we as mediums, we can try not to do this and that and the other, and having an unhealthy attitude within ourselves and open ourselves to certain processes that is not going to be good. So I just wanted to share that and say, you know, this, what you said just brought me this thing in my head. And obviously then I wasn't prepared at all to anything, to be honest with you. It was a few years ago. I didn't have, obviously, as the time passes, we learn things. And obviously, if we look back, we are not as prepared as we are today. So,
Liz, a truly obsession case, and because why I say a truly obsession case, because many cases are not obsession, and we jump too quickly into conclusions. Let's analyze, for example, your example. I don't know if it was an obsession. I cannot know. Maybe it was just physical. And then the physical, of course, attracts the other side. But maybe the origin was physical, was truly a disease, for example, right? So in a truly obsession case, there are too many factors that we need to see. Too many. The person, what he or she does, what you're missing, what she's missing. You need to evaluate if she has contributed or not in this present moment for the situation. Like the example I had was from the past, and is there. So she's doing everything right, and is there. It's happening, right? So there's so many things we need to be attentive. We need to be thorough in such evaluation. And I always say that the Spiritist movement is so quick to say, oh, it's an obsession. Be careful with that. Very careful with that. Because we all can suffer influences. Even right now here. Even here, we are suffering influences. Could be positive, could be negative, but we are. And that's different. An obsession needs to have a particular attention, and with the people that are familiar with that. Right?
I think we quickly forget how complex our realities are, and like each individual, as we learn again and again, it's repeated throughout Kardec's books, and each individual is a universe in itself. Right. And you know, we are very quick to forget this factor in our life. So yeah, you know, putting into perspective, each case is one case, and we don't really know anything 100%, do we?
No. But we are very quick to jump into conclusions, right? And there's one thing I also need to say. the most complicated cases of obsession that can lead to a possession and things like that start with love, start with trust. And quite often, what we want to is to get rid of her or him or it, or whatever you want to call. We just want to get rid of it. That's the wrong thought. When we face a situation of obsession, what we must do is to heal both parts. Not only help yourself or someone you love or someone you know, no, because you're not helping. And there's a lot of people that used to say or used to promote that, yeah, I'll get rid this spirit away from you. Maybe momentarily you will. But when he or she managed to come back, the problem will be worse. So you're not healing anything. You need, in front of a situation that's to your obsession case, you need to be very friendly. You need to treat both sides of the coin with the same love. And for the indoctrinators, if you start to say something just because you want to help the person that is suffering the consequences, you're failing. You need to try to help the spirit. He's the one that's suffering more. And of course, his acts, his consequences are a different thing, but he's suffering. So we need to have that perception. So what I'm going to do, I said I would speak a bit about indoctrinators, and we have a couple of minutes to finish. So let me just speak a bit about obsession and indoctrinators. Because when people think about obsession, they think about mediums. The medium is obsessed. What about the indoctrinators? What about those that are conducting the conversation with the spirits? What about those that are in positions that can coordinate activities, in positions that can coordinate a whole group? Because we saw here already that anyone can be under influence, and this influence can grow on anyone. I don't remember listening anyone say that my group does not have any problem. My spirit center is perfect. I never heard that. Never heard that. And when an influence starts to take a place in the mediumship group or in a spiritist group, start slowly. I don't like Liz, I don't like Munir. I like Valerie a little bit. Yes, I like Soli, but I love Cherry. But then it starts slowly, because we think that's a human thing, right? I like one, I don't like another one. And this starts to grow. And this starts to grow. This continues to grow. When you see, you start to have conflicts. Because I don't like Liz since 2 years ago. Now I'm having conflicts. Really conflicts with Liz, and we come to a point that me or her, we cannot be together in the same place, or we cannot be together in the same work, in the same activity. So we have a problem, because the group is losing one or another. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot. And normally, when an influence in a spiritist group comes in waves. It's not just one person. You may have one person that is accepting more easily the suggestion to make problems, if I can put it like that. And this person will create problems with Cherry, with Liz, with Munir. But when we realize that, is when the problem is already there. We have difficult to see that when it is starting. Quite often, the result is we'll lose someone, and this person will move elsewhere. And then everything calms down, everything becomes cool, all the activity becomes to happen again normally. In the future, another wave will come. And if you pay attention, quite often it's the same modus operandi. It happens in the same way. Maybe different actors, but the script is the same. But we need to be attentive. Sometimes we put people in a pedestal, believing that they are beyond any influence. That's not true. That could happen to everyone. For example, I'm an indoctrinator, and we're going to have a mediumship meeting, and 50% of the spirits that will come to communicate with you guys, I think is animism. And I'm quickly will say in front of everyone is animism. What's going to happen? The other 50 will also be concerned, because 50% of our colleagues are having animism. So now I need to be very careful, or I start to have some thoughts. Am I truly giving communications from the spirit, or it's me? So this indoctrinator, perhaps he or she is under influence to say something like that. He's under influence to judge very quickly. And when you judge one person, you maybe create problems with the harmony of the group before you truly evaluate, analyze, study case by case. We had indoctrinators in the past doing things that I said, well, where did you see that? Where this is coming from? Oh, in Kardec. Can you show me, please? It was not there. So we need to be attentive. That's why you will always hear me saying, everybody needs to study. Because that's the only way things like that will settle in our hearts and in our minds. I hope that to those that participate in a meeting with me, if one day I'm missing something or I'm screwing up, come to me. Have you noticed that you're doing something like that? Because sometimes you don't even notice.
It's a deal, Guilherme.
Yeah, but it has to be. It has to be linked to everyone, you know, not like, oh, I'm not. She said I'm doing something wrong here. I'm never come back. No, you need to take things that on board. You need to be open to things like that, because we all potentially will leave that in our lives. We have 2 minutes, and I'll give you another example that I saw in the Spirit Center. In one of those waves, and that was third wave, we could see the same script happening again. And one person started to give a lot of trouble. Keep us busy for a long time. And the funny thing is, was a medium. He or she, I'm not going to describe, he started to hear things. For example, I was here in the room with you guys. I'll pick an example, Cherry. She's always quiet, never say anything, sweet person. For some reason, I heard Cherry saying something very nasty to me. All right? And then the other day, I heard Jackie telling me that I did this, and this wrong. And both of them never said anything. But that person started to hear the spirits whispering in he or her ear, telling things to create disharmony. So if you are medium, why I'm giving that example? If we are mediums that can have this characteristic, we need to be even more attentive. Even more attentive. So I think that's enough for today. Our time is up. And I will, as Sherry is always very quiet, very sweet, I'll ask her to do a prayer.
Okay, thank you. Let's all lift our vibrations up and say gratitude for all the learning that we have been studying here with this group, not just today, but over the years. And how very, very grateful we are that we're understanding more about this gift, that how we should use it to the best, using it wisely and understanding it more. We are very grateful to Allan Kardec for all the work that he has put over the years to help us, and of course to our group. We thank Master Jesus, we thank our Lord for keeping this group in harmony and in love. And may we all have a good week and always have that gratefulness in our hearts to appreciate the world that we are living in and all the beautiful things that surround us. We thank you, Father, not just for today, but for always. And we are very, very grateful. Thank you. And so be it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hope you all get a very warm weekend, because it's not warm so far. And I wish you all a nice weekend and see you all in the next week. All right?
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, what happened here?